what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 1996 Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 4. Up front is a 2.0 liter turbocharged inline 4 and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Do I have to tell you why I'm excited? Guys, today we are reviewing an Evo 4, kitted out in a beautiful rally livery. This thing, woohoo! Oh, it's gonna be good. If you guys would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out. I come out to you. And huge thank you to Nomad Imports here in Flint, Michigan for allowing me to borrow their Evo 4 for today's video. This is something special. Nomad Imports is super awesome as well. Please go browse their inventory. They have tons of awesome eye candy vehicles to look at and to maybe bring home. But let's get back to that 2-liter inline 4 turbo under the hood, known as the 4G63T, technically turbo. That's what makes the Evo 4 so special. Well, there's plenty of things, but the engine is a good starting point. Now, this does have a bigger turbo installed. It's a little bit zippier than the standard Evo 4, but the sensations are all the same. This also has a bunch of rally art bits on it, and so just looking at these underhood shots, you could tell it is quite literally a work of art, and a work of rally art at that. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, this is the GSR. This was a little bit more of a livable, a little bit more dailyable Evo 4, if that's a sentence. So I had like power windows and such, but one of the big changes was that the RS actually had a closer ratio manual transmission, where this has a wider one. However, from where I'm sitting, I don't give a f***. It's a torpedo! Oh, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Last but not least, of course, the Lancer Evolution is 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, which was one of the big calling cards of the Lancer. This was a rally vehicle, and so all-wheel drive started dominating in the late 80s, and we never really looked back. What is it like to drive a Lancer Evo 4? It's so great. Like I said, everything just has pinpoint accuracy that you didn't find in the Subaru STIs of the same era. Subarus have always felt like a very well seasoned or broken in pair of jeans. You know where they stretch and you know where they shrink. You work into them, and there's a nice comfort that comes with that. But the Evos have always been a razor sharp edge. This is a blade that's been honed and crafted over years and reinforced. It's a laser pointer shining in the window of a commercial jet from 35,000 feet below. That's what this feels like. And that's what it drives like. The transmission is tight. The steering is exact. I turn left, it goes left. And that sounds facetious, but it's not. Some cars don't feel very exact with their turning. This does, and I love that feeling. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 4 gauges. Off to the left is my tachometer, and the center is my speedometer, and off to the right is my coolant temperature and fuel. The steering wheel is an OMP unit with the Mitsubishi badge in it, although it does have a horn. That works. Off to the right, we do have our fog light switch, of which this actually didn't get the optional fog lights. Power mirror adjustments. These mirrors have been swapped out for the rally mirrors. They're a little bit smaller, better aerodynamics. Climate vents off to the right, and a little coin holder / cubby. And moving out of the door, we have our power windows, again, part of that GSR as opposed to the RS. Moving into the center, we have 2 more climate control vents, digital clock, hazard switch, our climate controls with a digital readout. Very nice to see for 1996. Our temperature as well as auto temperature. And then this is an aftermarket radio, but I do have this really funny remote for the aftermarket radio. Kind of cool. We have a cigarette lighter and ashtray. We have cup holders that failed the big friggin' bottle test. And the shifter. The shifter, along with the Rally Art logo telling you where to shift it. Like I said, very pinpointed, very straightforward. No BS, nothing here. Absolutely love all of that. And then we have a little rear window washer switch down below. Really cool to see that, because we actually do have a rear wiper. Not a lot of sedans get rear wipers, but the Evo 4 did. Then we have a handbrake, cubby, and center console, and the seats have been swapped out for OMP Rally seats. Now, they are doing quite the number on my waist, but smaller than me, and odds are you are, you'll do fine. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. So let's go do a backseat review. All right, so we're in the back of the Evo 4, and these are not modified seats, so these are the original seats, and they're not bad. They're decently comfy. The Lancer was based off of the Mitsubishi Mirage, and so a lot of the stuff is very economy, but because I do have the GSR, I do get power windows, which is a nice thing. I get a center console. It's big, chunky foam brick, but it works. I get floor mats back here. I have an ashtray. I mean, I'm living like a king in terms of an Evo rally car, and to do all the fun rally things up there while having baseline creature comforts in the back, or even the possibility of bringing your friends with, that's really cool. This car is just a smile factory. Let's take a look at the trunk, because I doubt any Evo 4 review has ever done a trunk review, but let's do it. All right, so I have genuinely no idea what to expect back here, but here's the trunk of an Evo 4. Pretty standard. It does have a Rally Art, or no, that's a Cusco bar in the back here, some extra chassis bracing and whatnot, but beyond that, nothing really too crazy. This is the rear trunk space of an Evo 4, in case you've ever been curious. Now we gotta talk about the looks, ladies and gentlemen, and if you have the gift of sight, if you have eyeballs in your head, you might be drooling at this very moment. This is a copy of a livery that was used back in the 1990s. Some enthusiast over in Japan was a big fan of rallying, and so he or she did this design on this car and then sold it at auction so Nomad Imports could purchase it. But I love it, and all of the stickers are correct, even the ones that say, oh, smoking tobacco kills. That was actually a regulation to race in Australia because they have laws against nicotine and tobacco advertising. This looks straight out of Colin McRae's Rally for Xbox, which was a game that I loved growing up, and I'm sure you did too if you're watching this video, but I could stare at this car all day. One thing I do want to note that I found very interesting is the rear wing is not only a wing, it's also the rear deck lid. I didn't realize it had this in its design, but it does, and it's really, really cool. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Evo 4? Well, it's amazing. It's so good. It's everything you wanted the car to be when you were a kid playing Xbox. That's what this car is. That's what it is. And so I came up here to Michigan. I'm from outside Chicago, so I had about a 5-hour drive to get up here. Had a lot of time to think. Had a lot of time to process my emotions and whatnot. And I came across actually an interesting Rick and Morty quote where Rick is talking about how love isn't real, and that it's actually just a chemical in the brain. And while that's true, love is technically just a chemical inside your head. You could look at that in a very sad way, or you could look at it in a very cool way and realize that external factors actually chemically change you as a human. Falling in love physically changes you. This car has chemically changed me. I am a different man stepping out of this car than I did stepping in however many minutes this video started ago. I'm up here in Michigan to also drive the new Nissan Kicks. You'll have seen that on the channel probably months ago at this point. When I drove that car, nothing about me changed. I didn't feel anything. It was a cool opportunity. I was glad that Nissan was able to do that. But that's just a car. This is something more. This is something deeper. Driving this, feeling this shifter, feeling this wheel, hearing that turbo spool up has changed something chemically in my head. And if I remember anything from chemistry in 7th grade, chemical reactions cannot be reversed. You can't unbake a cake, which was always the example that they would use. I'm forever changed. And I would say personally, for the better. Oh. It's so good. It's so good. How? How is it so good? Oh. I love my job. I love my girlfriend. I love my life. And boy, do I love the Evo 4. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Nomad Imports in Flint, Michigan for letting me take out this Evo 4. What an amazing, amazing experience. They have some of the coolest cars, not only in Michigan, on the planet, available for sale. So please go browse their inventory. I'll leave a link in the description below. Let them know I sent you and send them my regards. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, subscribe if you really liked it. Let's see here. What am I feeling? What am I feeling here? Feeling a little bit of second gear, huh? Take care, guys.